Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of Diverse Stories Podcast with host Elliot Headley
Hello.
and myself, Miranda Orth. We are going to be talking today about a show called The Music That Impacted Our Lives. And as Elliot knows, right, we have a guest coming on today.
Yeah.
And you know about him a little bit.
A little bit. I met him 2 years ago at a gala,
Hmm.
and he was in a other band besides my band. So there was two bands at a gala. So
Oh, two separate bands. Huh.
yeah, yeah. And he's an interesting guy. I remember straight afterwards the gala, and then he just gave me his like social media address, and he said, "Just call me if you need me for something." I said, "Okay." 2 years later, doing a podcast.
Yeah. Right when we don't have much else in terms of interaction in person.
I missed that though. But
Yeah.
this is gonna be our second musical guest too. You had called him before, so
Oh yeah, that's right. I just kind of forgot about that for a sec there.
um, for everyone to know, so this guy's name is Dayton Cahill. So he's a multi-talented musician. So he can do drums, guitar, bass, all everything. He can do his own thing. So
Yeah. So that sounds interesting about him, and we'll learn a bit more about him when he comes on at 11 or a little bit sooner, maybe.
yeah, so everyone knows that me and Miranda do the show since March of this year,
Yep.
and we are hoping to make a second season, but we need more guests next season than this season. So we even have my godfather who lives in Australia subscribe to our show.
Oh.
Yeah, he texted me and said, "Hey, I heard of your show. Can I see it?" I said, "Yeah," and I sent him the link. He said, "Whoa, I didn't know there's 9 episodes already." I said, "Well, there's gonna be more than 9."
Yeah, there's gonna be 14 in total.
Yeah, I didn't tell him how much episodes are coming.
Gonna be an interesting episode where we get to learn about the different types of music he knows about and stuff like that.
Mhm. And he told me last night. This is like maybe like 12 at night or something.
Oh man, you must have been tired, which is why you probably got up so late today.
He told me this is his first podcast interview.
Huh? Wow, he's never done one, eh?
Oh no,
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So you ready to see him?
yep. Invite him when he comes over. Yeah.
Yeah. So see you guys when he comes around. Dayton, when do you first learn to do music?
When did I first learn to do music?
Yeah.
Well, I got my first guitar for my second birthday when I was in 2006. Never really learned how to play it. I actually started on drums. That was the first. That was the main instrument that I started on. Was drums when I was 4. I eventually got into guitar when I was about 7, and things just kind of started rolling from there. I didn't really learn anything when it came to guitar and drums. I'm pretty lucky to say that I'm self-taught at all of the instruments that I've learned how to play, except for piano. Was the only instrument that I really took lessons for, and that's been going on for about 3 years now. But other than that, I've been self-taught at all my instruments, including vocals.
Mhm.
Interesting. My aunt from from Kelowna,
Yeah.
she is actually a really good pianist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
until her fingers couldn't take it anymore because she was doing so much work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that happens. My
yeah,
grandmother actually used to be really good at playing, because then arthritis took over, and then that's kind of what happens. But
Yeah.
she's the one that actually wanted me to start learning piano, and I didn't really want to do it. I'm like, I'm doing it just to become better at songwriting and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So when did you like got interested to come to the gala so many years ago?
come to the gala. That was the Century Plaza show?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was June 22nd, 2018. I was interested because we were part of I was part of a little bit of a music therapy group around that time, and I've always been really into performing for other people and just brightening up their day, making them forget about life for a little while, as Billy Joel once said. Um, and that's kind of always been the thing. So the gala to me was just another opportunity to do that, to give to other people, and that's pretty much been my main goal. And the opportunity to do it with other people was perhaps one of the one of the best feelings for me.
And I guess for while this disaster is still happening, you're just not doing too much of the music stuff for people. Just keep doing it for your own time and stuff.
I mean, I am just not in the way that I would prefer, which is actually in-person live shows. I mean, we've all seen everybody do the Instagram live concerts and stuff like that. I've done a
Yeah.
few of those, but that's pretty much the closest I've gone to performing for other people, since I can't exactly do it since whatever happened last year happened. And
Yeah.
yeah.
If
So
I
I guess you kind of also hope, from what Ellie and I would ask, which is like you kind of hope in the future to like go back to the in-person stuff and in-person music themes and stuff like that
Definitely.
for
That's
people.
definitely. I've just been jumping. I can't wait to get back to doing it again. I literally can't. Because I've been thinking about a lot of future projects and stuff like that. That's really interesting. So,
What
you know,
type of music is it actually that you do? Because I was trying to ask Elliot about this yesterday.
what type of music?
Yeah. Like what type of music is it in terms of like rock or country?
As of now, it's very like alternative rock, like power ballads and stuff like that. That's something that I've been doing a lot more recently. But as for listening to music, I listen to a lot of genres ranging from folk to hip hop to heavy metal, and I even do children's music. Occasionally, I go back to my old elementary school, play guitar
Wow.
for the little ones during music class. It was a fun experience. I always enjoy doing that because it reminds me of when I was little and I used to be so into music back then.
so what's your point of view of the disability world?
Sorry, what were you saying?
What's it? Elliot was asking what what your view of people with disabilities and people living with disabilities in the world is, like for Elliot and myself.
Well, when it comes to music, especially when it comes to like my personal experience with it, um, you can. I mean, especially when it comes to people like on the spectrum and stuff like that, you don't. One thing that I found out the hard way is that you shouldn't lead with you labeling yourself as someone who is on the autism spectrum, because then that's all that people focus on, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want to lead with that. But
Or they'll do the same thing with epileptics, because Elliot and I are both that,
Yeah.
and Elliot also is the CP factor.
Yeah.
And so there's we don't want to be, he and I and other people don't want to be labeled as those conditions only,
yeah, like
because
people should be,
when you're doing different types of therapy, like your music one, for example, or a horse riding, as I did when I was younger, those are type of therapies to help you kind of realize for a little bit, oh, I'm not as disabled as people think.
Yeah, the diagnosis isn't what people should focus on. Like, people should just focus on you as a human and as a person, as a whole human being. And that's the diagnosis is part of you. It's not you as a person. It's part of you.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, it's not what people should focus on. So
Yeah, and we would say that's that's the part of the idea of this podcast for Elliot and myself, and the advocating work I'm also doing for for this podcast stuff, and just general advocacy work, because not many people are heard about invisible disabilities.
and even when it comes to me doing stuff like that and people find out, because it's like you focus on, like, even then when I try to do it, I always focus on like the positive side of it. Like when it comes to music, in my case, I don't think that my diagnosis has hindered me at all when it comes to it. Like, I mean, think about it for a second. It's like,
Yeah.
you have this diagnosis, but it benefits you more than hinders you. It's just really been benefiting me over the course of several years, and I'm really happy that it is. Like, that's why I do it, because it's like I have a chance to play my music and do all this for other people, and then when people find out about the diagnosis, it's kind of like a way for them to feel better about themselves and feel better about whatever disabilities that they might have, and further their strengths based on the information that they get and the inspiration, I should say, that they get from the music. And once they find out that I have that a similar diagnosis to them. Does that make sense?
What kind of diagnosis do you have?
Yeah.
I didn't find out that I was on the autism spectrum until I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And when I did, the first thought that was going through my head was, wait a minute, what? Because like I was told by my therapist, and I said to myself, what's going to happen? Like, where am I? Who am I? Where am I going? And I felt like my world just came crashing down around me, because up until that point, I just thought I was normal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all do. Until
I would like to think that for myself, but that's a little tricky, because I actually didn't grow up at first 4 months at home.
Oh.
No, I was in the hospital for that time because of medications not working, and my epilepsy wasn't in control.
Wow.
I was having over 100 seizures a day.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
And and many medications didn't work for me. And so I was just a little baby. I was just a baby lying in the NICU ward area bed, and trying to get medications working for me and stuff like that. And I only had 2 medications somewhat working by Christmas time of '88.
Oh yeah.
The year I was born. The doctors and my parents knew I were learning that I had epilepsy since birth.
Yeah.
So if I were to, I guess, if Elliot and myself learned that we had epilepsy at like an older age, for example, at 10 years old age, you were saying, right?
Yep.
We would probably be living like as if we were normal people, but then crashing down. The world can't, that's how it kind of feels with like world crashing down on me like this, because of our family being in a situation where they had to deal with that. Yeah.
And it's like you find out that this happens and the world comes crashing down around you, and you have to rebuild it up brick by brick. And that's basically what I've been doing. And I'm super fortunate enough to have my my family by my side. I mean, my grandmother Candace has been my number one supporter since day zero, and I literally owe everything to her. She's an absolute soldier. Like she put everything on the line for me when I was born, because I was 3 months because I was born at 26 weeks. I was 3 months
Oh,
premature.
Oh, wow, that's early. No, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Some
And
people do have. Some people sometimes have difficulties with certain areas when they're born premature. I think, right?
I was born premature.
Oh, you were too,
oh, you
Elliot.
were too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was 2 pounds when I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember how much I weighed. All I know is that I was about this big, about the size of like a 355 milliliter, like a pop can, like a can of Pepsi, like a little can of Pepsi. And that was literally how much that was literally how small I was when I was born.
Yeah. Maybe we should call it Dayton Pepsi.
Yeah, that's some sort of a nickname.
Ah,
I don't know.
I have a question for you. Is what's your favorite guitar or bass in the room?
My favorite guitar in my room is actually, I don't know if you can see, it's this blue one right here.
oh,
This is a Gretsch electromatic hollow body electric guitar. So it's not like a solid body like you see on a conventional electric guitar. I got it for Christmas in 2015 when I was 11,
Wow.
and it is my all-time favorite guitar that I own so far.
For
I
me,
still have a I
Elliot
still have a
has
few on my
one.
bucket list, but that's about it.
Sorry, Dayton. Elliot has one he wants to show you.
yeah,
Oh wow, is that a
another plate.
Stratocaster? What is that?
It's a Stratocaster bullet. It's a custom made guitar.
Awesome, custom made too. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing, man.
Yeah. A friend gave it to me. She was leaving town. She said, "Hey, do you want this?" I said, "Yeah, I should. I can take it."
That's good offer, Elliot.
That's my favorite guitar I have here.
Wow. That's
Are you
pretty
getting a lot of
good.
use out of it?
Yeah, good use.
That's
Funny
good.
thing, before I can play guitar, my hand was like this.
Wow, it's just like
Yeah. So
wow.
you know the game Rock Band?
Yeah.
I started playing Rock Band, and slowly but surely, it came from this to this.
Mm.
Wow,
Yeah. Totally 180.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think of the podcast? Like when I told you about it?
What do I think of this particular podcast?
Yeah, about it being about inclusion and stuff like that, and disabilities from different people's views.
I honestly think that it is a wonderful idea, because when it comes to stuff like inclusion, people with disabilities, and especially people on the autism spectrum, there has always been some sort of a stigma surrounding it. At least to my knowledge, anyway. There's always been some sort of a stigma surrounding, especially mental disorders. Like when people think about a mental disorder, they think about people who can't properly walk or properly be able to speak. So it's always very awesome when you have people of varying disabilities not being marginalized.
Yeah.
I should say they're people being included. They get to share their side of the story, and as a result, it brings a lot more light and awareness to this to the situation, and it's just overall a great opportunity to eliminate the stigmas surrounding a lot of these disorders.
Yeah, to try hard at that, and the advocating I say also is for because people government services, like for Ellie and myself and those who are in similar position, Community Living BC,
Yeah.
people who receive those services to branch out to other services for work and stuff like that, or work and stuff like that, they basically just turn you away.
Yeah.
Once they learn from CLBC about such thing. about such condition you have, you get turned away. At least from my experience of finding a job, it's kind
Wow.
of sucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked.
Here's a question for you, Dayton.
Yeah.
How you learned any new skills during the whole pandemic?
Learned any new skills during the pandemic?
Any new skills?
I've gotten better at music production. That's what I'm mainly trying to focus on because I'm just your average independent artist. I'm not part of a label or anything.
Yeah.
So what's been going on is like I've been seeing a mixing tutor for the past 2 years, I want to say, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And he's been teaching me a lot about mixing and music production and just how to master my own recordings and just figure everything out for myself. And I actually plan on going to, because I'm getting out of grade 11 this year. I'm going into grade 12 in September. And
Wow.
I'm going into it's off to music production school for me.
Sweet.
So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, for me, I went to like Cap U. That's what I went to.
Capilano University?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I've heard they have some really good programs over there.
Yeah, I did filmmaking.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah. What's your process of making a song?
I mean, the process of making a song, that is a really good question. I mean, I write lyrics that start with all kinds of things. It could start with lyrics, it could start with melody, chords, beat, whatever you want. But when it came to one particular song, it's called In the End. I wrote it when I was 14, 15. I had the idea for the chord progression in my head, and that whole thing, that was just one thing. The chord progression, it was all just 4 chords. And after I recorded that, the thing kind of sat around for like about 6 months. And then I finally was like, I want to see how I can perfect this. So I started working on that and started working on vocals and writing lyrics and melodies with a couple other people. And it is now my favorite song that I've ever written.
Wow.
And I'm actually in the process of I just had a meeting at a local recording studio on Monday. We've decided that we're going to professionally re-record the whole demo and stuff like that, mix it and master it. We haven't set a date for anything, but I do know that it is going to be sometime this summer. That is all the information I can give right now.
Okay. Talk about music. I'm planning to make a music video for my song I wrote last year from Mira.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we plan to film the music video in July. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing it, man.
Yeah, I am performing it and I am directing the music video because I'm from film
That's
school.
awesome.
Yeah.
You're doing everything.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Best of luck to you. I can't wait to see the video once it comes out.
Yes, me, the guitar, bassist, Andy, the violinist, and my friend Maddie, who's the guitarist and vocals.
Awesome.
3 of us.
Best of luck to you, man.
Yeah.
Hope it goes well.
Yeah. So, I remember you were in a group in the therapy group. There was you, Nate, and Marshall. Is that right?
Yes, that was me along with Nathan Chan and Marshall Forsyth.
Mm-hmm. So,
for the people on YouTube who don't know who these people are.
I remember like straight after the gala, the whole band like separated or something.
Yes, what happened was we had another member of the group. His name is Matt Hesketh. Mm-hmm. He ended up departing from the group in May of 2018 because his grandfather had passed away.
Oh no!
And that was proving to be a bit much for him. What with dealing with the whole passing of his grandfather and the fact that I think he had the funeral to go to with the weekly meetings at the center that we were doing, at the rehearsal space that we were doing. And it was all proving to be too much for him. He ended up departing from the group. He said he might return sometime that fall, but we never did. So we ended up performing our final show at the Century Plaza Hotel in Vancouver, June 22nd, 2018, and we ended up separating. We ended up disbanding the next week, and as of now, nobody knows about Matt's future endeavors. I have not been in touch with him. I haven't heard from Matt since.
So what was the name of the band? Just curious.
The name of the band then, it was Days at the Marshland, because of all the names put together.
That's
And
cool.
we ended up recording one song together, and that was it.
Wow.
I don't know if that went much of anywhere after one song.
After one song, actually, it's actually something really interesting that I wanted to tell you guys really quickly.
Oh, okay.
So what we did was, after we did that, after the group disbanded, the song kind of sat around on my computer for almost a year, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And then when the beginning of 2019 came around, I was like, I want to see what I can do with this, because it was still a demo. It was still a 7.5-minute demo that we had recorded that day. And I was like, what can I do with this? So with my mixing tutor, we ended up just working on the song, narrowing it down. It is now 3.5 minutes in length.
Wow.
And me and Marshall have been talking. We've been working together on the project, and we've decided that the song is going to be coming out. This is one thing that I can tell you guys. The song is going to be coming out on June 28th under the name Chromium 24. That is the name.
Chromium 24.
Yes.
That's a handful.
Yeah. Because we have chromium, which is an element on the periodic table of elements.
Yeah.
And then 24 is its atomic number. I'm very well versed in chemistry, so.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited for that project, but we only reunited just for that one song, and that's probably the only time you'll ever hear from us again.
I remember I met Marshall a couple of times at the center, and I played with him once.
Oh yeah.
And we played the song Angie from the Rolling Stones together.
That is a great song. I love the Rolling Stones. They're such a major inspiration for me musically.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the bands you admire?
The bands that I admire, and well, the artists that I admire. Well, basically, it started off with this Canadian artist. Her name is Jan Arden. Absolutely amazing singer and vocalist. I think she only had one international hit in the United States. It's called Insensitive. It came out in 1994.
Wow.
She's been such a major inspiration for me ever since I was very little. And I actually had the wonderful opportunity of a lifetime to actually meet her a few years ago at a show. And we've now been in contact over Instagram, and I'm currently working on a demo CD to send to her in Alberta. So
wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Aside from that, a lot of people. Elvis, major inspiration. Johnny Cash, the Beatles came later. And even some more modern artists like Keith Urban, the country artist Keith Urban. And even more recently, people like Linkin Park, Green Day. Just a bunch of people, a bunch of artists. There's also this Canadian band called the Deep Dark Woods. They've been around for about 15 years. They're a folk band, and I think they're from Saskatoon, somewhere around there, somewhere in the prairies in Saskatchewan. They have some wonderful music out there, and it definitely deserves your ear if you're into that kind of music.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us though?
Questions for you guys. The only question I really have is when did this whole I understand that this is a fairly new podcast, but when did you come up with the idea that people out there should hear about people with disabilities? Like when did you come up with the idea for a podcast, and like what are your plans for the future, and what is your hope for this podcast in the future?
Okay, I'm gonna answer one part, and I'm gonna get Elliot to answer another.
Okay.
My part is that we hope to get a second season once we have other people coming to see the episodes and stuff. The idea of the advocating part of this, people being heard for people with disabilities, and to have the public see us as like just general, try to be normal people and stuff, was the idea of that on my end, because I'm also doing advocating on the side of for other things, right? For making sure I get proper services and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Which is why I also use my middle name for some services, so I can be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And also, that's my area of it. And Elliot's is because he initially started thinking about the idea.
Yeah, because when the whole pandemic happened, I was like, I need to do something to keep me busy. So I can't.
Didn't we all need that? We're all stuck at home, and we're like, well, guess we gotta utilize our time here now.
Yeah, so I thought making a podcast, and I thought like do all around about disabilities and non-disability people, because I thought that might be interesting stories.
Yeah, share both sides of the story, where it's like, you have this side and then the other, the total opposite side, and then it's like, okay, then you can sort of see where people stand from there.
Yeah, as Elliot said in one of the episodes, he says there are two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Like one side is people like us, and people who don't have disabilities.
Who are considered neurotypical.
Yeah, and also we are planning to release T-shirts.
Oh, merchandise.
Yeah.
Yep. I have mine in my closet, but Elliot has one too. It's black and white each.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can give you an example.
Awesome. Diverse stories.
That's the example of the logo that's on his hardcover booklet.
That is great. Honestly. Yeah. I really wish you guys the best of luck. I really hope that this really takes off, because I feel like everybody needs to hear everybody's story when it comes to this. So
yeah, we're on YouTube and Spotify right now. So
yeah, how many people watch or listen to this thing?
On YouTube, we have 19 people, and on Spotify, not sure. So
that's a start. You're gonna get there. That's more than me. Right now, anyway. Well, that is more than me.
I remember my godfather from Australia. He told me, "Oh, I thought it was going to be one episode, but there's 9 episodes in the playlist."
Yeah.
And now there's almost 10.
Yeah.
Wow. So is this the 10th or the 11th?
11th
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 10th one we're uploading after this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be Lucas Gates.
Oh yeah, Lucas. Yeah, I know that guy very well. He's a major advocate for people on the spectrum, and he's actually a Canucks representative. He's a really good friend of mine. He's a really cool guy. I like him.
And we have our own website, and you can follow us. And if you have any questions, you can go to our personal work email.
Awesome. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And I might just recommend a friend of mine who's also quite musical. I'll tell him about this, and I'll tell him to consider hitting you guys up for it.
Okay. That'd be good. We're trying to figure out what episode 14 is going to be. So it might be something along the lines of frequently asked questions and stuff like that, giving people chances to ask us questions and stuff, because we don't always see that in our emails. Right, Elliot?
Yeah, that's true.
That's good. Best of luck to you guys. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope I said to see your episode next week.
Yeah.
It's gonna be way good.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear your music when it comes out. You're very talented, so there's
Thank you, man.
future in you. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Honestly, like we'll have to do something together in the future, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'd honestly be curious to see how that would pan out.
Yeah, well, maybe yeah, see you in the near future, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
If
Until we meet again. This
Yeah.
was such an amazing opportunity. In touch, guys.
yeah.
Yep.
See ya.
All right.
See you, Dayton.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Bye,
Bye.
Dayton. Bye.